What's up, reignofgaming.net? This is Dcgreen. I'm the community manager here. I'm in charge of giving you guys all your news updates and your patch notes and uploading all the videos from tournaments like the Reign of Gaming International Invitational. And I wanted to start doing some video segments for you guys to provide you with more content and also help you guys kind of get to know me a little bit better. And, you can then decide whether you like me or hate me more or less, because now you know what my face looks like, and etc. So I'm recording this on June 9th, and it's 2 a.m. I just got back from MLG Anaheim, and I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the games that I saw. The teams that were playing on the main stage today were TSM Evo versus SK, Curse EU versus Team Dynamic, and TSM versus MRN. Now, I was only present. Well, I was present for Curse EU versus Dynamic and TSM versus MRN, but TSM versus MRN was pretty much not a match. Because TSM is TSM, and MRN is not a professional League of Legends team. So it was a stomp. So there's really nothing that needs to be discussed. It was actually just really, really entertaining to watch the crowd, not actually the game, because they had some crazy fans. Anyways, so I didn't see much of TSM Evo versus SK, so I'm not going to discuss that because I have no input. But I did see live all 3 games of TSM, I saw all 3 games live of Curse EU versus Team Dynamic, and so I wanted to go ahead and give some analysis of why the games went the way that they went, because while the casters at MLG are actually really good, like they have people like Freak and Joe Miller and Rivington, and I think there might have been another person casting, I don't remember. The casters are good, but they really don't talk about more than like what champions are on each team, and by that I mean their names. They're like, oh, they picked Nocturne. The end. No one really talks about like no one analyzes why they picked certain things that they picked or anything like that. They'll say like really blatant things like, oh, Shen got banned because he has a global ultimate that protects people. That's good. They never say like, well, it synergizes well with their comp because of this, so that's anyways. So I just wanted to talk about the first game, game 1. Curse EU surprised me by picking LeBlanc after Dynamic picked Rise. Now, I was really skeptical about this when I first saw it because I have a very swayed view on LeBlanc. I feel like, she falls off way too hard late game. So in order to do that, you have to have the most ridiculous early game ever. Because you need to essentially knock the opposing middle person out of contention for the entire game, so that you can insta-give them anytime a team fight comes up. Because if you don't, you're pretty much useless. So I was like, okay, by picking LeBlanc, what Curse is saying is that we're going to just stomp the crap out of you in the beginning, and we're going to beat you like within 25 minutes. And they actually did a really good job picking champions that were very, very capable of that. They got, I'm pretty sure their picks went like this. I'm pretty sure they went Janna Graves, bottom, which is just good. It's Janna Graves. Oh, no, it was Soraka Graves. So they were like, Soraka Graves, bottom. We're just going to push with infinite mana and buckshot. It's going to be insane. Then right after that, they got LeBlanc Nocturne, which is just like, Nocturne's a very complimentary jungle to LeBlanc. Especially once he hits level 6, you can just basically assassinate anybody. And then their last pick was Aurelia, which I didn't really like. I thought that they should, it's as weird as it sounds, I thought that they should have picked Garen top. Because the other Dynamic picked Vlad. And I was like, they should just pick Garen because like they're banking so much on winning the early game. And Garen is such a good early game champion. Like, and their team was kind of like lacking a tank. So I was like, oh, Garen would be good. You can go in, just silence somebody, you know, be tanky, execute somebody. It's gonna work really good with LeBlanc, whatever. Anyways, with Aurelia, it worked fine. They did what they had to do. They hit like every mark that they needed to in the early game. LeBlanc snowballed out of control. They completely dominated Ryze. They completely dominated Vlad. And Dynamic stood no chance. They surrendered to 20 minutes. It was absolutely perfect. Like I was very, very impressed. And then game two was literally like Curse's game to lose because they came into game 2 with such good momentum. They had the 1-up from the first game. Not only that, but it was a surrender victory. So Dynamic was just like demoralized. Dynamic also had first pick in the first game, so now Curse had first pick. So it's like, oh man, we have such a huge advantage. And so the odds for them to win were just like so high. They ended up losing, and I think that the reason that they lost was they ran in my opinion, it was a very synergistic comp. I really, really, really enjoyed the synergy that their comp had. They had Soraka, Lulu. They had Soraka bottom, Lulu mid, Graves, Mundo jungle, and Renekton top. Now, I like that because both Renekton, Mundo, and Lulu can do something to increase health. Now, and then Soraka can heal, and Graves is just already tanky. So, like, I liked all of that. They had shields from Lulu, they had health from Lulu, they had health regen from Mundo, they had extra health from Renekton, and they had heal from Soraka. They had passive magic regen because of Soraka's aura. They were just like a really tanky team, and I'm like, okay, if they get the late game, they're just going to win because they're never going to be able to die. And, you know, the Dynamics team was much more... It was just good champions. It was like Aurelia, and then their support was I want to say Tarek. Might have not been. I don't know. They had Aurelia, they had Nocturne, they had Ryze, so they were kind of scary. And they had Tarek, and they had Corki. And so they just had good champions. It wasn't like very synergistic like Curses were. But anyways, Curse ended up losing because Mundo tried to counter jungle very, very early. He got with Lulu. They both got caught, and then they got caught again later. And so like within the first like 6 minutes or something like that, it was like 0-4. And it wasn't that big of a deficit. Like Curse did a decent job hanging in there, but they just were never able to get back into the game. It was kind of like a basketball game where like the whole time the losing team is behind by 1 point. It's like they're so close to closing the gap, but they just never do. And then by the time you know it, the fourth quarter's over, and it's like they're still behind 1 point, which means they lose. Now, the analysis part that I'm going to give into this is that I really disliked the Mundo pick that Curse.eu did. And the reason that I disliked it so much was because they locked it in like almost instantly after Dynamic passed back pick priority. Now, I'm pretty sure that Dynamic picked Nocturne early, because Nocturne is just one of those heroes that you pick early. At least now he is. And Curse.eu just locked in Mundo, and I just don't think that that's a good pick. I think Nocturne is a really fast, clearing, aggressive jungler, and his ultimate at level 6 is just like ridiculous, and you need something to compete with that, and Mundo just doesn't do that. Like, Mundo can clear fast, but his ganks are unreliable because his gap closer is just, well, I mean, it's there. It's like he slows you, whereas Nocturne gets faster. So like they kind of like score the same in that. And then Nocturne's crowd control is better because it's a fear, and it can make you like run backwards and stuff. And then Mundo doesn't have a crowd control; it's just a cleaver, which is his gap closer, which is what I'm considering. And then that's fine, but it's just not there, and it just isn't good. Like Nocturne, once he's level 6, everyone has to be careful because he can just fly out of nowhere. Mundo, when he's level 6, he can run fast. And maybe he doesn't die. That's it. It's just the disparity there was just not good. And so my thoughts was they should have just picked Nautilus. Like Nautilus is just way better. His his early ganks are better than Nocturne's. He clears a little slower, but it's just a level 4. So, you know, and Nocturne has to make time of, like, ganking in the early game. So, like, he's not going to counter jungle you. So, they should have just picked Nautilus. Nautilus's shield stacks with Lulu's shield. He builds Aegis, like actual tank items that help your team, instead of stupid tank items like Spirit Visage that Mundo gets. He's got a gap closer, a slow, a knock-up, a stun. I already covered the shield. He's way better! And I just don't know why they didn't pick him. It was just ridiculous. To instant lock Mundo was just... Like, Mundo was kind of good like a month ago when he wasn't getting nerfed, and then Nocturne, you know, was still... He was good, but no one was using him. You know, everything goes up and down and up and down. And Mundo was up last month, and he's down this month. So don't pick him again. Like, Nautilus is just way better. Alright. So, I mean, like I said, and then that might have been a reason that they wouldn't have gotten caught in the beginning, because they got caught because Mundo was trying to counter jungle, and you don't really counter jungle with Nautilus early. So it could have changed the whole pace of the game, and I really think that would have made them win. But it didn't, and then it took them to game 3, and then they lost in Champion Select, and no one addressed this. The casters just really didn't pay attention to it. But what happened was that Dynamic got first pick. Dynamic first picked Olaf. So Curse then picked Janna Nocturne. Now, that doesn't seem like a bad pick, but it is because they picked a highly contested jungler when the jungler role was already taken. You should research your teams, and if you know anything about Dynamic, you know that they don't top lane Olaf. They only jungle Olaf. So first pick Olaf means we picked our jungler, which means that when you get past priority, you don't pick your support and then your jungler, especially a high contested jungler, because there's no reason to anymore, because he's not in high contention anymore. You just don't do it. You don't pick Janna Nocturne. You pick Janna Graves. That's what you should have picked, because Graves is insane, because Graves was in every game in MLG, because he's the best AD right now, because he's tanky, and he has a smoke screen, and he has burst. He's ridiculous. So, they didn't, and then what happened when Dynamic got past priority again? Oh, they picked Taric Graves. Wow, that's a ridiculous combo. Wish we had done that. Okay, you didn't. You picked Nocturne. That wasn't smart. So, they lost in Champion Select for that reason, because they could have picked Janna Graves, and they didn't. And so then they were forced to pick Corki, because Corki has something that can escape from the stun. I don't think their AD carry really mattered, who they picked. I was talking to somebody in the audience, and I was like, they could pick Sivir. It's like the same thing, because it negates the stun, and they really just need someone to escape. So Corki was fine. But the point is they didn't need to pick Nocturne, and it really screwed them, like, super hard. And then their picks after that were just, like, really lackluster, they picked, Curse picked, like, mid lane TF, and I'm not a fan of TF. I think he's just such a one-dimensional hero. He's got a stun and a nuke, and that's it. Like, his ultimate's useless. It gives you vision, but that's all it gives. Like, that doesn't always win a fight. It's not like the hero that he got picked against, which is Ahri. Ahri's ultimate is so much better than TF's. Like, oh my god. It does damage, it moves you 3 times, it makes you hard to gank. It's just ridiculous. So, I don't know. That was just weak. They just had like a weak team after that because they had TF middle. And, I mean, TF and Nocturne kind of synergize like once every 2 minutes or 3 minutes or whenever Nocturne's ultimate is up. But Team Dynamic like snowballed the hell out of early game. They killed all the towers, like under all the first towers like under the 10-minute mark. And so TF couldn't even lane anymore. And so like he just couldn't use his ultimate to good use, and the game just got out of control, and they won like very, very handily. I don't know. It was just bad, and no one addressed it, so I just thought I would give my thoughts on it. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. I'm mainly analyzing Curse because it's the only games I saw, and because I work for Curse, and so you know I kind of like pay more attention in their games, and so I have more to say. But anyways, if you guys like this kind of segment, let me know, and I'll keep doing more, because like I said, I don't think the casters really go over anything like this. They obviously don't have time. I've been doing this for 15 minutes, so they don't have 15 minutes every game to talk about what happened. I understand that, so I thought I would do it. Let me know. I'm going back to MLG tomorrow and on Sunday, so I'll try and do more of these if you guys like them. And I won't leave you empty-handed. I'm gonna tomorrow at MLG. I'm gonna buy a mouse pad or a couple. We'll see. And I'm gonna get them signed by all the pro players while I'm there, and I'll give them away later on Reign of Gaming as prizes for stuff. So if you're sitting here like, man, I just sat and listened to 16 minutes of this guy and looked at his dumb face, well, it's worth it. Like, I'll get you a mouse pad. Not you personally. You'll have to enter some kind of contest, and I'll do it randomly. But yeah, shut up. You'll get it. And yeah, that's it. So I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know what you think, and stay tuned for your mouse pads. And you know, hopefully we'll do more of these in the future. And I'll come out with like a title for the segment. I already have a good one in mind. And yeah. So thanks for watching. I'm Dcgreen, and I hope you enjoyed it.